It is 7:43, and we're joined this morning by our local wellness expert, Dr. Amanda D. Richardson, and World Series qualifier, baseball player Cutler Turner, advancing our discussion, talking about how to keep young athletes safe. Of course, baseball season, it has started. Major League Baseball started yesterday. We got more games today. A lot of people going to be taking the field. So let's talk about spring and summer training specifically when it comes to baseball now.
Yeah, so a lot of the things that we look at when it comes to kids is we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to do too much as far as like pitch counts and things like that. So one of the biggest things that we look at is shoulder injuries with kids, because Cutler here is an all-star catcher. He's also a pitcher. What else? What other position do you play?
Third and first.
So
what position don't you play? I guess that's the better question.
Right.
Usually outfield.
Usually
and second.
outfield. So you're talking about pitches. I mean, his shoulders, it's going to be working a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, all baseball players are throwers, so it doesn't really matter if you're a catcher, if you're a pitcher, but catchers do actually take the biggest brunt of it because every ball that comes to them is theirs. So we want to show some tips this morning on what we can do to help stabilize the shoulder, prevent shoulder injuries, little league elbows. These are all big issues that we want to make sure that these kids don't end up throwing out and then missing the end of the game, because we don't want him missing his World Series.
Or not only that, but you know, it starts at such a young age now.
It does.
So, you know, season 1, things are fine. Season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, now you're going to start to see more problems.
And Cutler, when do you take a time, or when's your break off?
Usually during the middle of the season, sometimes.
Middle of the season.
Yeah, so he's year-round. He's playing the whole sport all year round. So what we want to do is give some exercises, some stretches, some tips to help keep these kids' shoulders stabilized and help keep their back strong, nice and healthy.
Okay, so what do we need to do then? What's the first tip?
First thing is when have something that's available. So typically I'd say a 3 to 5 pound weight. Cutler's bottle that he's got with him all the time works really well. So we're going to demonstrate. Why don't we do the empty can one? So the first exercise is where we're going to hold the can upside down. We're going to bring it down to our shoulder, or down to our hip. And then we're going to raise it straight up in front of us. What that's going to do is that's going to start to strengthen some of the muscles up in here, help relax those muscles in back, and he's just going to do sets of 10.
Okay.
So he'd do 10 of these. The American Baseball Association says 2 sets of 10 is really good. And depending on the level of athlete, you might do more, you might do less, you might do a little bit more weight, but these are not exercises that you want heavy weights for by any means.
Okay, so are you going to be sticking around to give us some more information on this as well?
Yeah, we've got a few more exercises, a few more stretches that we can show you in a little bit.
Dr. D, thank you guys so much for coming in.
Absolutely.
8:16, and I know a lot of folks already spending the weekends at baseball fields, soccer practices, all kinds of sports getting underway, and we're joined this morning by local wellness doctor and expert Amanda D. Richardson, talking more about our conversation on how to keep these young athletes safe. These kids work hard every season, kind of year-round as we were talking about, and use some exercises to help these young athletes stay healthy through the entire year.
Exactly, because the last thing that we want is one of these kids to blow a shoulder out, not have the strength, not have the stability in their shoulder. So we brought Cutler along because he's an all-star, rock star kid. So what we're going to do is a couple of different stretches, a couple of different strengthening things. So the first one is anytime that you're working an athlete, especially young kids, they don't really need to be doing bench press. They need to be doing a lot more of the back stuff. So one of the things that we've taught, Cutler was going to go ahead and turn around. Let's go ahead and do that one where we're going to show our shoulders. So what we're trying to do is strengthen these muscles in through the back part of the spine. So Cutler's going to do it right. Go ahead and pull those shoulders back. See how he squeezes that? You can't read his jersey anymore. That's perfect. That's using those muscles like he's supposed to. Now relax. Now do it wrong to where you pull those shoulders back. None of this moves. So a lot of times when athletes are pulling, they're not actually using the muscles. Do it right again. Pull it back and then release. So that's going to help to strengthen and stabilize not only his shoulders but his spine as well. Then what we have to do is loosen up some of the chest muscles because we have so much tightness from throwing the ball in here. So one of the best stretches is, let's say we have a doorway here. If I'm the doorway, go ahead and show me how we would do that stretch. So he walks forward in through it, keeping his shoulders nice and straight, and what that does is that stretches out his pec muscles, because all ball players, all throwers are really tightening this area up, so we want to keep that nice and loose.
So it's important for these young athletes. You know, I know they see a lot of their idols, their favorite pro athletes doing all the hard, heavy lifting. That's not quite where they're at yet, so a little bit of an altered stretching and exercise to get these guys ready.
Absolutely. We want to keep them loose, keep them mobile so that they can make it through the whole season, because their parents invest a lot of time and money into making sure that they can play and make it to the World Series.
And then after playing, you know that stretching is so important. What do these guys need to do?
We always want to stretch and then ice. Even if it's not super sore, don't do it immediately because you want that blood to relax. So you want to warm up before you go out and exercise. You don't want to throw cold, but then you also want to ice any injuries, because if you add heat to it, that flames the fire. And we never want to add heat to a injury.
Excellent. And again, I know with the weather kind of back and forth right now, this stuff is even more important just to keep everyone safe, and hopefully the weather will be changing quickly here.